This will be the first really maiden voyage for the Big Boomer, Roger.
Big Boomer, is that a pet name or is that the actual name?
That's the actual name from Cushcraft, the Boomer. I added the big. It's been modified. I started off with it as a generic Boomer. It used a what you call a T-match, which is like double gamma matches, Roger.
Okay, Roger. I'd hate to tempt fate, but things are coming around good. Could you describe it one more time? I just couldn't pull it out last try.
Roger, it's 22 feet long and 19 elements. 22 foot long, 19 elements, called the Boomer from Cushcraft. It's got 16.2 dBd gain. And when I first got it, somebody had shortened the first 5 elements. So I did have to go and refabricate the first 5 elements, Roger.
Oh, yeah. I think adding the big part in on your was definitely not a mistake for you. You got that right.
Roger, well, actually, what happened, I compared the Big Boomer with my other Yagis, and it was always noisier. So I did pull their Cushcraft T-match out, and I put my own half-wave, half-folded dipole driven element in, and made it a lot less noisy, Roger.
Well, you got to expect it's going to pick up what's out there, and there's plenty of noise out there, that's sure.
Oh, Roger, yeah, one of my biggest noisemakers is the wife's bug zapper. She's got a bug zapper out there on the deck, man, and that thing generates so much stuff, it's terrible. And every time, I got a little, I don't know if you know what a BSR is, but a BSR is a AC remote control, and it's number 2 on the BSR control, so I have to hit number 2 to turn it off, Roger.
Okay, I was just listening to the silence there after you dropped. There's a little bit of noise that repeater's picking up out of nowhere that's fighting with us also, but you're doing good. Sounds like quite an antenna system. I bet it takes a good rotor to turn that one.
Roger, I'm using a 8-wire high gain. 8-wire high gain rotor, and it's really strange. It's so directional that, like I say, I'm using quarter-second nibbles to target it, and I can actually hear the white noise shifting up and down a little bit as the antenna shudders to a stop. Roger.
Roger. I'm going to tempt fate again and say you're getting better all the time. Got you really well now.
Roger, Roger. Now I just took a slight hit on receive. I'm getting 2 lights back now, whereas before I was getting 4. So we'll just have to see where it plays out there. Like I say, do you still copy me at 2 lights?
Yeah, I told you I'd be tempting fate. Now I have you good. Tiny bit more noise, but you're doing just fine.
All right, getting 3 lights back now. Getting 3 lights back. Well, anyway, this the Big Boomer. I call it now the Big Boomer after I made the modification to put the new driven element in, because I think it helped the noise level a whole bunch. I saw this piece coming out of a guy that's on YouTube in Mexico that showed the difference between a gamma match driven element and a DC to ground driven element. And that DC to ground driven element was a whole lot quieter than the gamma match, and the DC to ground is what we're running here as far as the driven element. It's a half wave, half folded dipole, meaning only half of the dipole comes back to the middle. Roger.
Yeah, I've got you there. I got the general idea. I'm not as up on my antennas as I should be. but yeah, I've got the idea.
Roger, I was afraid that it was going to have some problems when I pulled out their T-match. That T-match is impressive as far as what it looks like. I don't know if you know exactly what a T-match is, but it's two gamma matches. You know, like a normal antenna would have one gamma match, a T-match has two gamma matches. And while it looks good on paper as far as SWR and all, it just doesn't seem to kick the signal down the road like a DC to ground half-wave half-folded dipole antenna driven element does.
When you start talking gamma match and folded dipole, you sound just like the material for the extra exam right now. Be a good study lesson here.
I know what you mean there, man. I just for kicks started to take an extra exam, and I think I got to about the third or fourth question, and I said, no, not today, Roger.
You just got buckled in, and I guess you could do it. Oh, I know you could do it. I suspect I can. That's why I'm looking at the stuff. Well, I'm gonna give it a try one day.
Roger. Yeah, I'm going to switch back and forth. We're on the Big Boomer transmit, and I'm flipping back to my stack 7s for receive. I get one light less signal strength on the stack 7s than the Big Boomer, but it's quieter, if you can believe that, Roger. And we just took, let me go to transmit here, we just took a signal hit there. Randy, we got no lights. Last time I looked, no lights, but we're on the Big Boomer as far as transmit. So this is the best opportunity as far as getting to you at Mount Mitchell. Roger.
You're down in the noise, but that's good audio. I can still understand you completely.
Roger. Well, we'll just have to see where Mother Nature goes. This is the ninth visit to Mount Mitchell, and I'm mighty glad that you're up. We have made contact a couple of times or three between then and now, but conditions didn't prevail. So we shall see how long Mother Nature is going to be cooperative, Roger.
I hate to say it, but you started dropping out. I missed most of that. Probably don't have me right now either. But it's been a few minutes. I'm hanging in with you. I'll wait for you.
Roger. Now I just had 4 lights and you faded out, so I think it's your uplink or your downlink. You must. How far are you away from the Mount Mitchell repeater?
Oh, now you're back good. I'm a little bit closer than you are. I'm about 10 miles.
Roger. Well, yeah, like I said, I had a solid 4, and you got noisy there for a minute and then straightened up, so I'm not real sure what was going on there, Roger.
I don't know. It got bad to the point of dropping out. I did miss what you said last time.
Roger, I'm getting 5 lights back. 5 lights now back from Mount Mitchell. So I should be solid in. Roger.
Oh, perfect now. Sounding great.
Roger that. Well, I hope that your health is prevailing in good standing, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Things are going the right direction. I'm really grateful for that.
Roger, just a little bit noisy, Randy. I'm not real sure what's happening there. I've got a solid signal from Mount Mitchell, so it's in your uplink, Roger.
I've got a little bit of staticky kind of noise on you too, but you have really good audio in there. I'm not sure what's bothering us.
That was perfect there. That was solid, perfect. No problems at all there. Check, maybe could you have a loose connection?
No, I don't think so. I believe that noise is coming from somewhere between us.
Roger. Well, 405 miles, it it could be almost anywhere, you know. It's this is my furthest extent down the road, 405 miles, Roger.
You're doing it perfectly right now. I hate to keep throwing out signal reports, but it's sort of up and down. You know how that goes.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, we've waited long enough. Mother Nature hopefully will cooperate here for just a little bit now. What is your schedule, Randy? When do you are up and when are you down?
Oh, that's another place I have to fight Mother Nature. I don't really have a schedule as much as I would like, if you mean sleeping-wise.
Roger, Roger. Now, I know that you have a tendency to be up between midnight and, let's see, 6 o'clock. I do know that much, Roger.
Oh, yeah. When you come in, though, after 5 or 5:30, it's past my prime. It's time to get a nap.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Yeah, mine too. But I have found that VHF propagation does get better starting at about midnight, but 2 o'clock is really nice, and it seems like 5 o'clock is even better. So I'm thinking about rearranging my schedule and starting my day more towards the 5 o'clock than hanging out towards the evening into the early morning hours that way, you know, so I can sleep, get some sleep and start at 5 o'clock and be in perfect conditions, Roger.
I tell you, we have a strange hobby if we can adjust our schedule to try to catch the proper conditions. That's dedication, isn't it?
Well, that's weird. I'm getting a really solid signal off the repeater, but you're noisy, so I just can't figure out what's going on there, man. What type of antenna are you running there?
You got the same thing going on. You got a great signal, but you got some noise, kind of choppy, not exactly static. But on my antenna, I am down right now. I'm running a mobile antenna indoors.
Roger. Now, is it sitting on top of the refrigerator?
Oh, no, well, not directly. The refrigerator's one floor down.
Roger, because if you're running an indoor antenna, it's got to be a mag mount on top of the refrigerator.
Well, it's technically a mag mount, but it isn't. The magnet doesn't do it any good. It's on a wooden banister around the stairway.
Ah, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it needs some metal underneath it, you know? Is it a 18 inches?
No, it's one of these that adjusts itself off. It does have an accessory. I got some radials added on. I tried the metal thing, and that killed the receive. It does not like to be on metal. So I took that back out.
Roger, Roger. Well, it's, you know, if I get, well, I was trying to get a scenario going as far as maybe there was noise at the repeater, you know, because you're solid, and then all of a sudden there's noise, and I guess that's the way I am to you. So, but yet, you know, when you back off the key, it seems like the transmission to me is like 5 lights and quiet, you know.
been having that, but you were great that time. I've heard that on a lot of people here recently. I think there's something going on that isn't. It isn't you and it isn't me. I don't believe.
Roger, Roger. Now I just went to Seven Lights. Went to Seven Lights. I don't think I've ever had Mount Mitchell at Seven Lights. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, 3 miles west of Louisville. Copying Mount Mitchell with Seven Lights.
Yes, and this is Randy KD4TOS. You maybe didn't catch that last time. This time I did it again anyway.
Roger, man. Well, see now, perseverance pays off. I mean, this is the best that I've come across as far as Mount Mitchell. Seven Lights, that's just amazing.
Now you're strong now, and the noise is gone for the moment. I hope gone for good, and but you're doing fine, very well.
Roger. Now, for folks that may not be followers of my QSO vlogs, Randy is my partner in crime there in the Mount Mitchell repeater area. I'm not exactly sure where he is, but are you close to Asheville there, Randy?
I'm a bit northeast of Asheville. I'm in a small town called Burnsville. You might find that on your map if you have a really good map with a lot of detail.
Roger that. And just out of curiosity, Randy, how long have you been in amateur radio?
Well, I haven't been active the entire time, but a little over 25 years.
Oh, roger that. I didn't realize that you'd been in for that long. I shall salute you, sir.
Thank you. That Kilo Delta 4 is its original issue. It's not vanity.
Roger that. Roger that. And what is your operating conditions now, Randy?
I hear you really well. If that's what you mean, I'm not sure what you mean by my conditions.
Equipment.
Like I say, I'm running a Yaesu FT991, and I really haven't got it restrained on the antenna. I just have a mobile antenna indoors.
Roger that. Now, is that a base station, or is that a mobile with a power supply?
Technically, yeah. I think they maybe call it a portable, but it can go mobile. It's running off a power supply.
Roger. Well, it really sounds good, man. Good audio, for sure. I've always been impressed with your audio. Sometimes, you know, we get in murky places, very marginal, and sometimes I'm copying your audio even though I'm not even getting a busy light. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I mean, I thought busy light was the bare minimum, you know, but I swear I've copied your audio even without the busy light.
After we fought it so long the other night, I backed my mic gain and my power both the way down, so I didn't think if I did need to turn it up, but maybe I don't.
Oh, it's beautiful. Don't change a thing. I copied you already tonight, audio, and it was I had a busy light tonight earlier. Signal had dropped down to just a busy light, but I could copy your audio just plain.
Now, if it would stay like this, we could just talk, you know, anytime we want to. You got it going great now.
Roger, don't jinx it, don't jinx it. Mount Mitchell, like I say, Mount Mitchell is my furthest capabilities as far as getting down the road, and it is not an everyday occurrence that Mount Mitchell presents itself. 405 miles comes around probably about maybe once a month,
whereas my 250 mile La Follette and Cross Mountain, I'm into those pretty much every morning. So 400 miles is not a normal situation, Roger.
Roger, got to give the repeater a lot of credit. It is doing all the heavy lifting in between us. Got an amazing footprint and a really good altitude to work from, and the guys, Randy keeps it up really well. Not me, different Randy, keeps it going really well.
Oh, that's a Roger there for sure. 6,600 feet. Never ever lose sight of that. That is what makes the difference between the normal repeater and the monster footprint that the Mount Mitchell repeater has, and it has a lot to do with the upkeep of the repeater, which at one point I thought needed some help, and apparently it got it. It was having some issues. I guess that might have been on Echolink. Don't recall ever having any issues on the actual operation of the FM side, but that was what is his name? The originator of this repeater?
Oh, I think you mean Mr. Ken Woodard. I believe that's who you're talking.
That's right, Ken. I didn't have my notes with me, but he did. I think I said that he was the Elvis of amateur radio. He was the Elvis Presley of amateur radio in his foresight and the ability to pick out the absolute perfect place for this repeater.
Oh yes, he got in there and took care of this, or else we couldn't do what we're doing right now. I'm going to hazard a guess here. I'm not looking at my notes. KA4BVW, I believe.
That sounds exactly correct, or at least close enough for amateur radio operators. We don't always have the facts together. Have you been copying the mail on any of the hurricane stuff down in Puerto Rico on HF?
No, I haven't. Haven't been playing radio too much. I'm just now getting back around to it.
Roger. I copied the mail on. There's a couple or three frequencies that they were using to do messages out of Puerto Rico to family and friends in the U.S. And they were doing such a beautiful job. I did do some audio recording of some of those transmissions, which maybe I'll play towards the end of our QSO here, just as a matter of letting people hear, if they didn't have a chance, what amateur radio is doing in Puerto Rico. These nets are going every day for maybe 10, 12 hours, and they're passing health and welfare messages out of Puerto Rico to their family and friends in the U.S. Roger.
All right, that's a good service to people. Just to a little information to help ease your mind is a very worthwhile, valuable thing.
Roger. Now, I had thought about doing phone patches, trying to work some phone patches down in Puerto Rico, and so I brought out my trusty Heathkit 1892 phone patch device, and hooked it up and worked real hard on getting the it's a full duplex phone patch, which means if you put your HF radio on Vox and you're transmitting, you have it hooked into the transmit, then people can talk back and forth without saying over, and so I had all that ironed out and was ready to go, and I turned on the SB220 and man, it just trashed everything.
The best laid plans, huh? I don't want to be doing your job here, but if you're saving this for posterity, you might want to maybe throw in the name of the storm and maybe even one or two of your frequencies you got.
Roger, Roger. Well, this is hurricane relief down in Puerto Rico at the moment, and the frequencies are 14270, 14280. Now, 14280 is Spanish. The recordings I have are from 14270, I believe, and 14265. And 265 is the Salvation Army network. I forget exactly what the name of that is. But like I say, 14265 is the Salvation Army associated health and welfare message taking facility, and the stronger one that I was copying was 14270, which they were doing an excellent job. And like I say, I'll play some of those towards the end, Roger.
Got you there, Jim. I may check on those since you brought them to my attention. The big player in the game, the Hurricane, what's its name?
Irma, and there was one after that, I believe. I think Irma did a number through there, and then there was one that came after that, I think.
Yeah, I just thought it might be good to work that in.
Yeah, well, like I say, this is amateur radio, so I'm shooting from the hip here. I think it was Irma, and I'm not real sure. I've been really running, but I do believe there was a second one that come through there, and it did not do well for Puerto Rico. I think there was some really bad situations there that they're trying to cope with, and it's going to take them quite a while to rebuild. Roger.
Oh, Roger, I'll tell you, the rebuilding cleanup would be horrible, and just the human element of suffering and disease and even death is just it's hard to comprehend that part, and that's really sad.
This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, 3 miles west of Louisville, in Cuso, with Randy, KD4TOS, on the Mount Mitchell repeater. And we were just talking about the situation in Puerto Rico. Can you imagine being on an island that isn't all that high, and then have maybe waves and surges of 20 feet? I mean, it would seem like most of that island from time to time would be underwater almost.
Yeah, nowhere to hide, really, I would think. I believe I heard the very end of the repeater ID there, and you said it for me, but I might better throw it in myself. KD4TOS.
Roger that, Roger that. Yeah, and I think it's just so great that amateur radio is in there doing their part, trying to get the messages out when all the other facilities have been pretty much eliminated or disseminated, actually, by the hurricane activities. So again, amateur radio is stepped up to the forefront there and doing their part as far as trying to alleviate some of the concerns of relatives and friends here about relatives and friends down in Puerto Rico.
William, also, please give me your QTH, KP4WBN WX2L.
Okay, I'm in the center of the island in a town called Utuado. Uniform, Tango, Alpha, Delta, Oscar, Utu, Do. Okay, I missed Uniform, Tango, Uniform, Alpha, Delta, Oscar. I'm in the center of the island in a borough called Caguana, we're close to the Indian Park. Over here, we did not have no way to get out until today. Today they opened up a breach, a one-car lane to go in and out from this sector over here. But as far as that goes, we're all okay. Thank God there. We have not had no kind of messages of anybody passing on or anything. Only in the town we had that one incident there. WX2L, this is KP4WBN, back to you.
KP4WBN, WX2L. Well, William, I'm glad that you are all okay. Do you have any resources in the town? Do you have power other than what you're using for ham radio? Do you have any telephone, electricity, and so on? Is there anything else we can do to be of assistance here? And did you also copy that the phone number for Javi from Kamita, that phone number did not work? We were not... I'm sorry. My husband's giving me different information. I misunderstood. Your phone numbers we have not yet tried calling. We will come back to that. KP4WBN, WX2L.
Okay. In my part, I do have electricity. I do have a power generator, but that's my second backup. My first, and now that the sun is out and it's really shining, I have solar power with batteries, and that's my main source. As far as water, I have my own source of water, which comes from within the rock, and there we have water. And we have a pipe that goes down to the road, and whoever wants, they're welcome to it. And that's the situation here. Back to you.
Wow, I am so happy to hear that you have such good resources. That is wonderful. Well, Alan, WB4L, my husband, will start calling the three different messages you have given us. And if you, William, if you can stand by, I do want to call Esther again. So, KP4WBN, if you would please stand by, let me call WP4NWP. Esther, are you still on frequency from WX2L? Esther, are you on frequency? Esther, are you on the frequency WX2L? Okay, we will try listening at a later point. William, thank you very much for all your assistance. We will get back to you and let you know that we have been able to pass the messages for WBN WX2L. Okay, there's another KB1 on frequency. Call WX2L now. Okay, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't hear anything either. If you hear anything, give a shout. I sure do appreciate it. W1VE. This is WX2L. I am listening for any stations in the affected area, any stations in Puerto Rico with outgoing traffic. Please call Whiskey X-Ray 2 Lima now. W1VE, do you hear that station? Okay, we are not doing any inbound traffic to Puerto Rico. We are only handling outgoing traffic from Puerto Rico. Sorry about that. W1VE WX2L.
Okay, I'm monitoring him. If you give him a break, I'll be willing to hear him. Okay, if you want, go up to 272 to leave this frequency clear. QSY.
Looking for any outgoing traffic from Puerto Rico, the Caribbean affected areas. This is WB4L in Miami, standing by.
Info.
Go ahead.
Yes, Alpha Kilo 5 Yankee AK5Y. I have a message here, maybe you can pass it on. I don't know if you already know about it. The town of Cabo Rojo and Guaniquilla received little to no damage. Do you have that info?
Okay, and who do you want us to pass that message to?
Well, to anyone that has inquiries about it. There have been people asking about Cabo Rojo, and there's no, haven't spoken to anyone from that town, and either Guaniquilla. So if you hear anyone asking about it, you want to pass it on that they receive hardly no damage. Curacao.
And what's the first part of the Rojo?
Cabo, C-A-B-O, Charlie Alpha Bravo Ocean.
Okay, I got that just fine. And where did you get your information from?
From Jesse, Whiskey Juliet 4 Victor Alpha. He has family there. And evidently he was able to get in touch with them, and that was relayed to him via his people there. Curacao.
Okay, they told me that there's no communication out of Puerto Rico.
So I don't know how he got it, but he was asking me for the last couple of days if I heard anything about Cabo Rojo or Guaniquilla. Well, you can verify that again. That's what he told me. I got his email right here. So, you're welcome to pass it on, or maybe put a question mark around it. If you have a Puerto Rican station on the air, you probably might inquire through them. That Curacao?
Okay, I'm getting ready to call William right now, and I'll ask him about that as well. William, I have a response to your last traffic, KP4WB and WB4L.
Okay, I'm listening. Back to you.
Okay, Susie passed the message direct, and there were many tears of joy and happiness.
Okay, that sounds like a winner. He's right outside. I'm going to let him know now the message. I see them words mean a lot just to know that their family members are okay. I just want to pass this on. In Bayamon, they do have cell phone service there. If you want to pass that on to anybody else. In Bayamon, they do have cell phone service. You got that?
Oh, I got that loud and clear. And by the way, you are 10 dB over 9 with your 200 watts there. That's pretty incredible. One thing I also wanted to ask you about, AK5Y is on frequency, and he said he heard through another ham that Cabo Rojo did not have much damage. Can you verify that?
Honestly, no. The winds blew in some places like 200 miles an hour, like in some places the winds were gusted down. We had wind gusts here, I say 125, 150, but in some places they hit 200. And whoever had less than 100 miles an hour winds, they were very lucky, you know. And Cabo Rojo didn't get hit that much. God was, they were blessed. It's my opinion. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. Well, that's good news about Bayamon having cell service. Perhaps that will continue throughout the island and lessen the need for our nets here. But you know, it goes back to that old saying you hear ham say all the time: when all else fails, ham radio.
Thank God for that. That's true. That's true. Okay. I want to thank you much. Okay. God bless you and yours. And I'll be backing out. And if any other traffic comes my way, I will be jumping back on the frequency. Okay. WB 4L. This is KP4 Whiskey Bravo November. And God bless you all that are giving that handout. Okay. Stay well, and I'll be backing out.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. I have the ability here on this FTD X5000 to record you, but I have no way to play it back on the air. I can play it back through my speakers, but I can't figure out any way to play it on the air. Your signal is just incredible. Audio, crisp, communication quality could not be better. 73 William, if you have any more traffic, let us know. WB4L.
Sure enough, I will. 73.
Yep, amateur radio definitely has a place in helping people when the time comes.
Roger. The gentleman, I think that was on 14270 was running 200 watts. And I'm not real sure exactly how he was getting his power supply, but I don't think it was from the standard power transmissions facilities of the island. I think he had his own power source, whether it was a car battery or out of a mobile or what, or even a generator. I'm not real sure, but it was strange. He was the most dominant as far as the signal strength, to me anyway, even over the Miami station that was in QSO with him, that was taking his messages. And what they would do would be to take phone numbers and pass along health and welfare information.
Well, as I said earlier, I think just a bit of information can be worth a great deal to someone as far as making them, ease their mind and give them a chance to feel better about whatever's going on, because it always could be worse.
Oh, that's a roger that. That's a roger, yeah. And we still have quite a bit of the hurricane season to go, so, man, would you keep our fingers crossed that they don't have any more problems, because they got enough. Well, Randy, I really have appreciated your hanging out with me under adverse conditions from time to time, but we did prevail, Roger.
Oh, yes, you got it going good now. The conditions have come around. Been a little bit trying to wake myself up here and fight with allergies a tiny bit, but I hope I've made it back to you understandably.
Roger. So I think we're fading out, Randy, so let me say threes. Thanks so much, buddy, and you have a good day, Roger.
Good talking to you again there, Jim. Hope to do it again sometime, maybe before too long, Tom. But I'm going to find out while we can still be heard, or while you can still hear me. This is KD4TOF. Catch you again soon.
Roger. Threes. KC9 VKV clear.